This is a true story, recreated so that it won't happen to you and your family. No one in this family has ever thought seriously about what to do in a fire. And no one realized electrical circuits can be overfused.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, May 3rd, 1978. In their large modern home, a mother, her 6 daughters, and 5 sons are asleep in their beds. Father has fallen into a deep sleep in front of the TV set. It's a perfectly ordinary night until a few minutes after 4 a.m.
Wake up, come on, there's a fire! I gotta get help! You go next door! Dad, come on, Dad. We gotta get out of here. Come on. Get out! Get out!
Now there are 3 open doors. This one, the front, and the rear. 2 broken windows upstairs. All of them feeding the fire what it needs the most, oxygen. And so the flames are following the deadly smoke up the chimney-like stairwell. There are 13 members of this family. 7 have escaped. There will be no more.
Fire! Come on, get out! Fire! Come on, get out! Fire! Fire! Come on, get out! Fire! Come on, get out! Fire!
This national fire drill lesson has begun. We don't learn much about fire in school. We learn about it by making mistakes. 1.25 million of them every year in North America, costing the lives of more than 11,000 people. So fire departments, fire investigators, and research organizations have helped devise 15 dramatized questions to help us keep our wits about fire. Question 1. The occupants of a high-rise apartment building discover smoke outside their suite. What should they do? Should they leave the apartment and take the stairs to safety? Should they take the elevator? Should they go back into their apartment and close the door? The correct answer is C. They should stay inside the apartment, put wet towels at the door, and wait for help on the balcony. On the stairs, they could become the victims of smoke and carbon monoxide if the fire is below. And the elevator could be just as deadly. Many elevator buttons are heat sensitive, and the car could be drawn to the level of the fire no matter what button is pressed. In a house, the rules are different. Where there's smoke, there's danger to life.
Come on.
Everybody should be outside, no exceptions. Every fireman has a tragic story about the person who had to go back for something essential. And firemen will tell you about people who call from inside for help.
Operator, get me the fire department.
It's often the last thing they do. Jean LeBlanc called for help from inside this 4-story office building, and he never escaped. Fire outwitted him.
They called the fire department. He went back to the south end of the building. Most likely he must have went for the fire escape at the rear of the building, which was the wrong place because the fire was going that way. He was caught in there. That's the way it happens in a fire. The reaction of the persons, you don't know. They reach for a door that they know, that they have in mind, but it might be the wrong door according to the fire.
And here's proof. Fire can be stopped by a door.
That's where the highest point, the heat and smoke was trying to get in. But due to the fact that when they heard from this other guy that the fire was on, they shut back the door. Most likely this door here, in this corridor, must have been open.
Most people don't realize it's safest to sleep with the bedroom door closed. So if there's a hint of fire outside, an almost painless touch test will suggest the most appropriate way to leave. A national survey of 1,000 homes for this program reveals that nearly 1 in 3 families has never discussed ways to escape from fire. Sometimes fire starts inside the bedroom because sleeping and smoking don't mix. So here's question 2. This smoker is betting his life he can stay awake. Is there a way he can smoke safely? By turning up the radio.
Now the forecast for Metro.
Will he be safe smoking by having plenty of hot black coffee at hand?
Thunderstorm and brisk easterly winds. Tonight the low around 13. Tomorrow should be.
Will he be safe by making certain there's a working fire extinguisher within easy reach?
Thunderstorms for Thursday, cloudy and cooler with rain redeveloping and continuing into Friday.
All the answers were wrong. There's no safe way to smoke in bed, and the thousands of cigarette fires every day prove it. Technicians place a cigarette on a cheap cotton mattress to calculate how quickly it will burn. Another is placed on a viscose rayon mattress. They're 2 of the most common mattresses manufactured, and we'll soon learn which is the most deadly. After 30 minutes, the cotton product is extensively damaged. The synthetic fabric didn't even burn. But 40% of all the mattresses made can be ignited this way.
After 115 minutes into the test, carbon monoxide concentration is 400 parts per million. Smoke obscuration in the room is approximately 100%.
A human being asleep in this room would have been unconscious after only a few minutes from the combination of toxic gases, smoke, and heat. After 90 minutes, the person would be dead. In a bedroom with drafts and bed linen to accelerate the burning, it would happen much faster. And yet, people keep pushing their luck. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and just a few minutes before, somebody was sound asleep on this mattress. These people were lucky. They lost only a cotton mattress from their double bed and a few hours' sleep. The party's over, and there's going to be a fire here because the hostess is careless about where she empties the ashtrays. Here's question 3. Should she smother the flames with a cushion? Should she carry the fire outside? Should she stamp out the fire? The flames should be smothered with something solid to cut off the supply of oxygen to the fire. So the correct answer to question 3 is A. And even sanitary engineers will concede the safest way to get rid of cigarettes is down the drain. Question 4. The demon cigarette is doing it again, but this time the fire won't be contained. How should he handle this situation?
Operator, get me the fire department. Fire department. Fire S15 Esplanade.
The correct answer is A. It may take a few seconds, but if he can't get the fire out himself, help will be on the way. Situation C speaks for itself. B was wrong because our hero didn't invite firemen to check for smoldering ashes. And too often they're called to fight fires that are given a second chance. It happens all too frequently. A grease fire in the kitchen. Question 5,
Operator, give me the fire
what
department,
should she
quick.
do?
Fire department, there's a fire here. At 8 Acorn Drive. Thank you.
Should she call the fire department and then throw baking soda and water on the flames? Should she carry the pan to the sink? Should she leave the fire alone and call the fire department?
Operator, give me the fire department, quick. Fire department, there's a fire here. 8 Acorn Road.
And then leave. Both A and B were dangerously incorrect. Fire loves to be carried around because it gets a chance to spread out a bit. She was correct in C by calling the fire department and leaving the kitchen. She couldn't safely get within 3 feet of the fire, so she phoned the people who could. The trouble is, she lost time going through the operator. 2/3 of the 1,000 people we surveyed claimed they had the fire station number right in front of them, but many were bluffing.
Hello, do you have the number of the fire department by your telephone?
Yes, I do.
Will you give me the number, please?
I can't seem to find it right now. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
We got that sort of answer from 1 in every 3 who said they were prepared. Who were they fooling? The average delay going through the operator is 15 seconds, and fire can spread a long way through your home in 15 seconds. Which of these curtains will spread fire? Will fiberglass burn? Will this acrylic burn? Will polyester burn? The material that burns is acrylic, so B is correct. Our test acrylic curtains were destroyed in 56 seconds. Polyester shrinks above the flame, and fiberglass doesn't burn at all, but neither is as popular as acrylic. This handyman wants to cut his fuel bills by insulating his basement. But what's the safest way? Loose insulation covered with decorative paneling? Fiberglass strips finished with gypsum board, also called drywall. Sheets of polystyrene foam left bare. Many insulations will burn, so when fire strikes, it's what's out front that counts. The only fire-resistant cover is gypsum board or drywall, which was correctly used in B. Watch what happens when fire meets some bare insulation. This is the polystyrene foam which was left exposed in situation C. It won't spread the fire, but it will melt and drip, allowing flames to pass through. It should be covered by drywall. This is polyurethane foam. It must be covered. These small sheets burned like this for 15 minutes. Our homes are filled with hazardous chemical products. So here's question 8. Which is the correct way to use a chemical fire log? Chemical logs can be 10 times as hot as wood when coupled like this. And one of them will turn a metal stove red hot. So the correct answer is A. Only one log, only in a brick fireplace, and no poking. Firemen are going to help us prove that most householders are fire foolish.
Toronto Fire Department, we're doing your annual home inspection. I wonder if I could look at your basement and your backyard. Okay. Thank you very much.
A third of the householders were out, and firemen left a card.
Nobody in 28? Okay.
But only one absentee phoned to have the inspectors come back.
Okay. If you'd ask your husband about that fuse in the basement, the larger one than 15, it's okay to have 15 or 20, but try not to get any more than a 20.
This woman had dangerous overfusing in the basement.
I took one of them smoke
detectors.
Bloody thing, you can hear down the queasy. Okay, come
Well,
right
that's
in.
what you want, though, isn't it?
She probably had it too close to the kitchen. Most people don't have them in the right places or don't have enough of them. There were plenty of reasons to have smoke detectors in these homes.
Out of 22 homes that you walked into today, a total of 14 had some kind of deficiency that might lead to a fire.
That's right. That's right.
That seems incredible.
It gets close to 60%.
And is that normal?
That'd be close to average, yes.
How do you estimate, how serious do you estimate these infractions, if you will, are?
Depends. The major infraction here is 8 in order to fuse box over fuse. And from our knowledge and past experience, we know that if you continually have circuits overfused in a home, you're going to have a fire. There's no two ways about it.
Our conclusion? That most homes are not safe from fire, and since most have no smoke detectors, the occupants aren't safe either. So where should the detector be installed? Here? Should it be installed here? Should it be installed here? B is wrong because steam from the bathroom could corrode the detector, and it's in the dead spot away from smoke. C is also wrong because it's in an alcove, away from the path of rising smoke. The correct answer, A. Here, fire alarms trigger a computer as the race against fire in North America speeds up. The computer sends firemen to a fire faster and prepares them for the job they'll have when they get there.
House fire, Viking, Peppermint Viking, 90 Viking.
Alarms in all apartment and public buildings in this community are plugged into the computer system by law.
Première à droite, surtout. Première à gauche, Arthur.
Firefighters get pre-programmed descriptions of the building, its exits, the number of occupants, and the best positions for fire vehicles. Eventually, every home in this city will be wired in. We need speed more than ever. Fire burns twice as ferociously in our homes as it did 10 years ago because of the increasing chemical fire load. People and firefighters have to move twice as fast. But as we charge into a world of advanced chemistry and technology, we'll still be left with human ignorance. We'll do it to ourselves and blindly lead our families into tragedy. Tragedies are caused by big people and little people. Question 10, When is Daddy being most careless? Of course. B is correct because he let her keep the matchbox.
I was playing with matches and gasoline, which I had poured down a sewer and thrown a match in it and it exploded.
And how many times have you been in hospital since then?
We're at about 15, 20 operations.
And you were how old then?
I was going to turn 4 in 2 weeks.
How old are you now?
13.
Still going into hospital from time to time?
Well, I'm going to be going in this next month.
Most household fires start in the kitchen. We'll show you 3 hazardous situations. Which one has an immediate risk to this woman? Watch closely. The immediate risk is in C. She was wearing a hazard. Watch how we were double-crossed by fire in the lab. Most common clothing textiles will ignite if exposed to flame long enough. But since wool retains moisture from the air, we didn't expect this wool pantsuit to burn. And then, 11 seconds after ignition, the acetate lining caught fire, and the suit was severely damaged. It was a painless lesson, but some people learn the hard way. Question 12 starts when clothing catches on fire. What's the correct way to put it out? The water would be too late, and beating the flames too little, so the correct answer is A.
143, take 1, 2 cameras. Camera 2, okay? Camera ready.
But this lesson isn't over for us.
Fire.
In this camera sequence with our stuntman, we learned not to be sure of anything. Firemen rushed in, and the stuntman was unhurt. Sometimes we seem to go out of our way to set ourselves on fire, but if we're lucky, there's a neighbor ready to rescue. What should he do? This time, water helps. A hose is a fire extinguishing device, and the neighbor was right to use it. So A is the correct answer. When we're outdoors, if there are no fire hazards, we tend to create them. Question 14, which is the safe way to illuminate a tent? Sorry, no answer was correct. If you take flames into a tent, it could end your holiday.
If you talk to a lot of burn patients, they have nightmares for years about the horror and the pain they underwent. I think there's no injury that's more painful than a burn, and no injury more horrendous, really, than a severe burn. A lot of children will rebound back and will rebuild themselves a new image more readily than will an adult. In other words, if you have a 5-year-old child, I think they will learn to live with their problem and with their disfigurement more than we'll say if you have a 16-year-old child or 16-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl who suddenly has a beautiful face and the next day it's destroyed. I think that girl will have a harder time readjusting back into life than will that child. The best thing you can do for a burn, of course, is to get the victim away from the source of the heat or the fire, and then make the patient comfortable by lying them down, making sure that they've got a good airway, and then cover them with an ordinary clean sheet. And do not put on corn oil or butter or all these fancy things that grandmother told us about 35 years ago. If they have a lot of pain, then you can put some ice on it by simply taking the ice in the refrigerator, put it inside a plastic bag, the plastic bag we have for garbage, and lay that on top of the sheet in the burn. But outside of that, do nothing. Bring the patient to a hospital.
Fire doesn't stop for anyone. It's fearless, impatient, cunning. It doesn't play by any rules. Question: if you had to face it in your neighborhood, do you have any rules?
Probably just try and get in and save somebody if I could, and, you know.
First, I would call the fire department. Then I would look around for probably a hose to see if, and to try to begin putting the fire out.
If I see somebody standing around, I'll tell them to jump, or I'll try to help them if possible, if I can get in, or run for help.
If you called the fire department like the man in B, then you were right. And you've started a counterattack against fire. This national fire drill is over. Time to total up scores from our 15 questions. If you had more than 10 correct answers, then your chances of survival are good. But it just takes one mistake. Just one.